Huh?
How are you? How are you, brother?
I'm doing good. Everything's always so busy. I don't know why I'm always busy all the time.
That's a good thing, isn't it?
No.
Stay away from Mike then.
Yeah. I guess. I mean, I feel like I've navigated that pretty well. I mean, I am easily the worst employee at the station by like a lot.
No, you're not. No, you're not. No.
I do remember to promote things, though. I'm pretty good at that.
Yes, you are. My gosh. Well, guys, if you do not know who we are talking to right now, this lovely gentleman. Did I say that?
Lovely?
Yes, I did.
I like it.
Okay, there we go. This is our DJ from Revel 9 who's got a kick butt band that we all love. Plus, he's a brother from another twisted mother here at our station.
Yeah.
You know what, Mr. DJ Pearlman, haven't you got the longest radio show on 99 WNRR to date?
Well, that's what I was thinking. So I don't know, because I feel like Artifacts' show should be longer, but I also feel like he had a couple of hiatuses in here. Here's one that'll really mess you up. And I just found this out the other day. I am 3 episodes away from my 400th Hard Rock Lunchbox. Yeah.
Wait.
I figured that out while I was doing the show.
I know, that's what I'm like, mic drop.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it, actually. It's a little bit bananas, because if you told me I would do, I think I said it on the show, like if you told me I was going to do 400 of anything that wasn't watch Simpsons episodes, like, I can't believe people still listen to this stupid show. Like,
you get a great amount of listeners each and every week. Don't forget, boys and girls, it is called DJ's Lunchbox. It's on a Thursday, 12 noon, 99 WNRR.
Yep.
Go and join the fun in the chat room. He plays some cracking tunes as well.
He does. Yes. DJ is my alarm clock on Thursday.
You know, it's so funny because like when I'm doing the show, like there's always people in the chat. The chat have actually become like almost autonomous at this point, and they call themselves Team Uppity. They've made themselves shirts. Like I'm not even look. They actually So they made shirts.
Stop.
Yeah. So if you could see that, I referred to them as Team Uppity one time because so whenever I have an interview, they just talk and talk and talk, but I'm doing the interview, so I ignore them. They hate that. And so I referred to them as Team Uppity one time, and now they're like this unit, and they don't need me. I mean, they would get together whether or not I was here or not, but everyone like in the chat, the core group of the chatters, like, and they made me this. I'm the legal guardian as the host. Right? So I'm not the parent, but I could sign a permission slip if they needed me to. But like they just do their own thing, and then like I play music and then they comment on it. But I mean, the whole show is like it's me talking for 20 minutes about like whatever's going on in the world, and then we start playing music, and then we talk about other things that are going on, and sometimes it's band news. I mean, it's kind of morphed over the COVID year because it always used to be like show stuff, like this happened at this show, you won't believe what this band did at this show, like that kind of stuff, because the whole show was supposed to be like this sort of peek behind the curtain of like what it's like to be in an actual working touring band, because people are like, oh my God, it must be so glamorous. I'm like, yeah, man, any day now.
Like, it'll kick in. It will kick in.
Some point, yeah. I had rectangle pizza in Pennsylvania last night. Woo, I made it. Yeah, it's not what they think it is at all.
I know.
Right. Oh my God.
We're talking about bands. Let's kick it off. Revel 9. We all love Revel 9. How did it all get started for you, brother?
Yes.
Well, okay, so Revel 9, we used to be a band called G Davy. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with Davy and Goliath, but I named the band after that. And it was just funny, and it was a logo, but we were really very not poppy, but like more pop rock. The whole like I come from like some prog rock backgrounds, like Fates Warning, Dream Theater and stuff like that. Those were like my kind of influences. Then maybe more towards like Pantera and stuff like that as it got heavier and heavier. But like we weren't going anywhere and nothing was happening. So I kind of sat the band down. I was like, let's just write some radio songs. Like, let's seriously sit and write some radio songs. So we spent a few years doing that. And then the culmination of all that, the whole G Davy project was a record or an EP called She Sells Smiles, which actually got on the CMJ chart and went to #1 on a couple of stations. And then nothing happened. Nothing changed. There was no difference. So I started writing like what would become the Razorblade Diaries, which is the first Rebel 9 record. And my producer and longtime friend basically sat me down. He was like, why don't you just go back to doing what you do? Like, just write it heavy, write it from the heart, like mean it, like mean all. And it's not the G Davy stuff was superficial, but it was a means to an end. Like, we were writing like, okay, is this the right tempo? How's this hook, and pop that harmony? And Rebel 9 was really more like, what is it that I wanted to say? And like use the music to create the mood. I mean, and this sounds silly because like everybody should be doing this, but like really just dive into it. Like, what energy can I get from here to there with music and sound and word and, you know, and voice and stuff like that. And that's really what Rebel 9 was. And when we did the Razorblade Diaries, it would shifted to this much heavier, I mean, it still had some pop elements in it, but this much heavier kind of idea, and much more, not necessarily storytelling, but like my storytelling focus. So it was a much deeper kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then we just, my producer, I'll never forget, we were mixing the song called Another Mistake, and he was basically sitting like this to me, and he's just like bopping along, and he turns and he's like, we got to change the name of the band, man. And so we did. It was exactly like that, because he's like, G Davy does not cut this. So we changed it over to Rebel 9. The whole band, it was a 3-piece, then we rolled it in, we added another guitar player, and we became Rebel 9, and we released the Razorblade Diaries like 10 years ago this year. And, you know, I've had definitely some personnel changes and stuff like that, and the band has been through an awful lot. But, you know, we released our 3rd record finally at the end of last year. It was ready a year ago. It was actually done a year ago this week. And like, this is, you know, the world was falling apart. Like, our last show was a cancer benefit on March 15th of 2020. That was the last time we played in front of people. We've only done live streams since then, and only a handful of those, but our record was done. Like, we had our CD thing booked. We were already starting to shop out our summer tour, because this was this with my new lineup, the new band, this was the first record that they were all on. So everyone was like, let's do this. Let's put a lot into this. Let's go out and take on the world. I was actually listening to an interview. My friends over at Bacon is my podcast. They did an interview with Josh Bradford from Silverstein, and they put out an amazing record. And they were actually on tour doing everything that they had worked for like 10 years. And then COVID like just totally took them out, and they had to go home. And they were like, what the hell just happened, man? And I was like, I was listening to the interview, and I felt really bad for them, but there was a little bit of me that was like, thank God, man. I didn't have all that stuff booked already. And whew.
Well, you are not the only one, because so many bands are just about to release the epic albums that they've been working on for years, and all of a sudden, nothing. You can't get out. And it's like, it's horrible. It's been over 18 months since I last went to a gig.
It's rough, and a lot of my colleagues and stuff are like, you know, they're doing live streams and stuff like that, and I've done a couple, and we did a great Thanksgiving live Eve with some friends of ours, because we always do a Thanksgiving Eve show, and we couldn't do it this year, so we did a live stream of it, and it was we had a really good time, and I think it was like as close as I came to like sort of enjoying it. But it's still just a live stream. There's nobody there. And I just, it's like, I'm really trying to like it. And I just don't.
I completely, there's nothing better than actually being somewhere and getting the feedback, getting the buzz back. That's what makes it night. And sometimes the smaller venues, where it's more intimate and personal, they're the best. They're the best.
We've done a lot of those, and it's, you know, we've come, like, I've definitely played places where there were 2 people in the room, and you play as hard as you possibly can for them. It's easier then, because like it's off the rails, nobody really cares, and you end up doing great shows, as opposed to like when there's 5,000 people out there. It's like, you better not mess this up. Like, you know, that's here, that's Ogden, that's hard to get out, you know.
So
we've done a couple of those too.
So you literally are itching and scratching to kind of get out there and get in front of people again.
Well, I am, but I'll tell you one other thing, and this is the thing that concerns me, because we actually just had an offer to do a show, and I checked it out, and it was like going to be socially distant. It was going to be at tables, and I didn't like that, but I'm willing to sort of make that transition. But then I kind of saw it in action, and I was like, I don't think that's quite for us. But then they asked us to do a 90-minute set, and I have to tell you, I'm not sure that my first show back can be 90 minutes. I don't know that I can go up there and sing full hard rock for 90 minutes. I mean, I could do it back in the day, but you know, about 70 minutes, you're like, hey man, I'm gonna sing this an octave lower. And I've tried really hard at band practice, like really push, but there is nothing like the over push or emphasis of adrenaline, endorphins, when like people are there. Like I've been singing for this band for I don't even know, 12 years. And it's like, I've said every time, don't blow your voice out tonight, sing like you do at practice, concentrate, focus on it. And I get out there and it's like, what's up, everybody? First song in, it's like, oh man, like
there you go. Give me some vocals on.
It's so stupid. Like it's the one thing I gotta do, like sing, like, and I have a couple songs where I gotta really like take it easy, but like I get out there and it's like, no, on the mic, yeah. You know, like,
you're like, yeah, I just blew that. Yeah, pretty much.
Wonder how I'm gonna sing the end of a song. I mean, we've been in shows where I've turned to my drummer and be like, I can't do that one, so let's just skip that. You know. So it's been the 18 months. So I'm out of shape. Like there is no treadmill for your voice, like being in front of people. So I actually had to turn it down. I'm like, I need a 40-minute show first. Like, let me get a couple of those in, just a couple, like not a lot, like we'll come back, but like
a little bit of exercise.
Yeah, nobody just starts back at full marathon. You do a halvesy or something like.
Wow, and saying I'm shocked that they would just do like 90 minutes right off the jump. You're like, really, dude? I haven't done anything in over a year, really.
Yeah, I think better singers can do it. Like some of my friends that are just better at it, I could do it. I think cover bands have been playing a lot. At least around here, and they're putting in their times, and cover bands are typically like not terribly energetic, and they do 3 sets. I mean, like some tribute bands are really good, like so, yes, but like the average, this is here's some Stone Temple Pilots, which I love, but man, I saw Stone Temple Pilots do it, so it's not you know what I mean, like
yes.
So, but they're not actually putting out like the highest energy, but they're better practice. They do 3 sets. They're doing 90 minutes easy, sometimes up to 3 hours is a set for them. Like if somebody asked me to do a 3 hours and didn't have like a $35,000 check with them, like this get
out of town.
Couldn't even. I would have to be singing lullabies for 2 of those hours, something nice and easy.
Literally.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I will tell you, DJ, and like I told you, your show is my wake up call on Thursday. And half the time, and not that I'm trying to put TMI out there, but I normally do, so it's okay. But I kind of lay there and I'm like, and I literally laugh myself to death getting up out of bed because some of the crap that you literally come up with, I'm like, where is he going with this? Where is he going with this? Where is he going with this? And it's
just a point.
Yeah. It's been 7 years. It's a lot of nonsense. And it has like the same formula. Like I walk in here every week, like, and every week something seems to happen, or there's something important to talk about, or whatever. Like even like this week, I walked in, like I had just gotten the shirt that I just showed you. So I was just talking about like how grateful I am to actually be a part of something like that. Because like again, it really has nothing to do with me. Like these are people that just they come together, they wherever they are, all walks of life, and they listen to the show and they like talk amongst themselves, and they're all friends, and I'm just the soundtrack for them. So I was talking about how cool that was. I was saying about the Silverstein interview, and he was talking about some really important band related stuff. He was talking about like how they Josh was saying he had gone to Japan and they were opening for Avril Lavigne, and so they kind of tempered their set to be a little bit more pop punk. Silverstein's one of those bands that goes from really heavy to like kind of pop punk. So they kind of did that, but they were just getting like this lukewarm response, and they went ahead and they just did what they normally did. And then they really got a good response. And I was saying that like I have catered to what I thought the audience has wanted forever. Like so many times, like oh, this is a lighter audience, we should play this. And I think the takeaway for me was, we should really be just doing what we do and do what got us there. And that, I've been doing this for ages, and I just learned something, and I learned it basically on the show, which is what I always thought was interesting. So there's the chat, and they're all fans and stuff, but like, I have a lot of musicians that listen to the show because I've played with them and they know the deal, or they have something to add, because they've been in those same situations. So whenever I get like a nugget about like, hey man, this could be really helpful as a band or as a musician, like I really offer it up on the show. And a lot of times bands are like, I never even considered that, or yeah, man, we did that this time and this is how it went for us. And because there's the chat that's going on, and then a lot of times I'm getting texted by my friends that are all in bands telling me like, that's an excellent point, like, oh, don't ever do that, don't forget about this thing, like, so it's hella interactive and stuff for me.
Oh yes.
No, I totally understand. Go ahead, Tristan. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we get the same on a Sunday night. We've got the chat going on, text messages going on. Next minute, the song's finished.
Exactly. Or your board doesn't work. Playing songs are like an octave.
I've got something on the software every now and then where I hit it and it just like complete chaos, and then I'll just spend 5 minutes trying to figure it out, like while we're on there. And people love that. Like I found that you could like scratch stuff. Like this was a couple years ago. I've been doing it for 7 years, and I just found out that you could scratch stuff or slow stuff all the way down.
Stop.
So I'll take some of my friends and I'll just slow it down or ramp it up really high, and they're powerless to do anything about it because I'm live, dude. Like
you can have so much fun when you're on.
I am not the only troublemaker.
No, I think we are. I think it's the animal, the animal that is live radio. Like it's just like, first of all, you got to be there to hear it.
Right.
And it's borderline stream of consciousness. Like I think we all kind of have a way that we do our shows, but at the end of the day, it's like you're just sitting talking to a mic. It's like, hey man, this really funny thing just happened. You want to talk about it? It's like, and there's no, like the editor is here and he's working on the fly for free. So it's like, you could really mess up real fast. So it
depends on how you take it. It either can be really funny or it can go south really quickly.
I have not had it go south. I mean, I've had some issues like when all the politics and stuff was going on last year. Like, again, I had no shows to really talk about. So I was pretty like, I wouldn't say I was very steeped in politics, but I have some very strong social beliefs just from the way that I was raised. And sometimes I would just see stuff out in the world like, I cannot believe that people that breathe the same air as I do think that X, Y, and Z are okay. And if I'd watched the news before I came to do the show, it was the first thing I talked about. And I definitely pissed off a few people, not necessarily that I was wrong, because like I'm not like I think people, I don't think people should go to bed hungry. Like I have things where you can't really take a stand and be like, I think everybody should go to bed hungry. Like, it's really hard to take a stand on a lot of my social issues, despite what politics you follow or believe. So like, but a lot of people were like, I don't want to hear politics from you. I want to hear about, your dumb band and what they just did and your friends' dumb bands and stuff like that. And they would just like tune out. And I take that stuff personally because I feel bad because like I am providing a service, but at the same point, like the show is literally about everything that's going on in these four walls. And I'm here, I'm in it. And these are what I'm thinking. And this is what I'm going through and stuff like that. Like I did, 20 minutes on the food poisoning I had a couple weeks ago. I mean, it was not good radio.
Okay, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Okay, let's talk about this for a second. Tristan, did you know he had food poisoning, by the way?
No, I didn't.
Obviously,
I didn't listen to the show that day.
It was bad.
I was so mad at you. I was so mad at you.
It was bad. We think I picked up a parasite because I was down for the count for like 5 days. And this was over. Yeah, like really bad. Like no solid food for like 5 days. I could not pull it together. And I got back on the show and it was right after Easter. And I actually made the reference that because I was sick for 5 days, I was actually down longer than Jesus was. And people were like, what are you doing, man? I'm like, well, I didn't think that through. I mean, obviously, he was 3 days. I was 5 days. I mean, yeah, he was dead. Like, that's way worse. I had a little tum-tum problem. So, I mean, and that's how the show rolls.
Yes.
So it's me saying something and it's like 50 people going, oh, Jesus Christ.
Not again. Here he goes.
Right. Oh my God. Or if they're at work, it's like, oh, I gotta. Oh, I did. Yeah. Oh, one time, one of my best friends was having this real hard time at work, totally being taken for granted. And I know he listens every Thursday. So I just started talking about like how it kind of sucks that like a lot of these businesses are taking their valuable employees for granted and stuff like that. And I just like went full into it. He said he just kept turning his speaker like more towards the boss. This is a very interesting show, boss. You should listen to. I don't know who he's talking about. So sometimes it gets like that. And I had actually said that, for like $20 or whatever, if you have a problem with your boss on the Hard Rock Lunchbox, let's talk about it.
Dirty Deeds.
Nice way to pimp yourself out.
Yeah,
Nice way to pimp yourself out. I love it.
And I really don't like the people over at Bethpage Florists. Like, not a problem. That's not a problem.
So if you've got one of them bosses, boys and girls, get all the DJ Pearlman, he'll sort them out.
He will help.
Absolutely. Thursday from noon to 2, you'll be at work.
That is true. Well, no, not well for some people. Anyway.
Some people.
Well, even here in the UK, it's 5 o'clock, so they're just finishing work, so we can get that in straight away.
Right. I'd have to do it immediately.
Yeah.
Let's get back to a little bit of Revel 9 because I'm interested to find out how you actually go about writing.
Well, okay, so for the most part, I do almost all of the Revel 9 writing up until this record, or up until and including this record.
Okay.
I've just always done it. I've had writing partners along the way, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And what was really separating, I think, the band this time is that my other 3 guys, again, they hadn't been on any record. Kaz, who was my guitar player, he did a solo on the Reality Crush, so he was at least on that. But the other 3 guys, they were like, I really want to contribute and write and do all these things, but they lacked the studio experience and not necessarily the studio experience. They lacked the production experience of actually working with a producer and how to self-edit. So they were able to write all their parts, mostly write all their parts and stuff, given the structure that I would provide for them. Like, I write all the lyrics, and like I said, like I wrote all the music for this last record, and then I would be like, look, let's work on your melodies and your guitar solos, or here, just go and rip, or look, here's your bass line, it really should go up here, or should go down there. So we really did that, but it was very definitely top down on this last record. But what we've done since, because I feel like they all had a very hard time in the studio, because my producer pulls 0 punches. Like, I've known him for a very long time. He's the main writer and guitar player in a band called Cage Z, which has actually been kind of on hiatus for a while, but they've actually just started working on new music. But like, he's worked with like Dave Navarro. He's done work for like 9 Inch Nails, like Rob Thomas and stuff. Like, he's done Shinedown. Like, he's done some major stuff, and it's not like he's a complete dick to us, but he's no nonsense. And again, like he's a different person to me when we're working on a record, because like I said, we're friends, but when we're working on a record, like when we were doing the diaries together, like we actually sat down and had conversations, like, we got to talk about getting a real singer for this band. Like, he said that to me, and I was like, yeah, man, let me just try, and let me real push. And like, and it ended up working out. Like, the diaries isn't my best vocal performance, but like, it's that level. So he was really like that with these new guys, be like, you're not playing it right, this part doesn't work, you can't play those drums. And it was a hard experience for them. It was even hard for me to watch at times, because I had done a lot of that, and they don't like when I do it, and I do it with honey and butter and biscuits compared to what was happening. And we walked out of there a very changed band. I mean, it was everything that I had expected, but we walked out of there a very changed band. So when we started writing again, I very specifically, my guitar player had this riff, and it gave me an idea for this whole song. Like he had this one riff, and it just totally, I heard this entire song in my head. So I wrote the song, and what I did is I went back into the rehearsal studio with them. I was like, let's write this with everything we just learned over the past few months. Let's write this, and like, put your producer hat on. Nobody cares what your favorite part is. Nobody's interested in like, do I get enough playtime? It's all about the song. So let's do this. And we wrote this song called Scars that is actually so good not in my opinion, like my friend's opinion, that my friend Jimmy from a band Craving Strange, we wrote it before the new record had come out, and we were playing it live, and he was like, I can't wait. Now he's my best friend. I can't wait for that song to come out on the record. And I was like, it's actually not on the record. And he was like, you're dead to me. Because he was like, I want to sing on it and all that other stuff. So with that, and with the success of that, like, and personal success, I mean, like, okay, I think we've learned some lessons. I really embraced, all right, who's got ideas, who's got this, but I'm still that Lindsey Buckingham guy. Like, no, that's nope. And they get mad and they don't like it sometimes. And it's like, and this is kind of dick to say, but it's true. Like, the brand of Revel 9 is mine. Like, it's my brand. And it's, and it's not my band, but like, I am the leader of it, and they all respect that. They don't like it all the time, and they don't like that they don't get their way, and that's okay. And it sucks to be on the other side of it, but I am trying to protect something. I have a vision for what it should be, and I'm not always going to be right. And that's a common misconception, that leaders of bands are always right. They're not, but they are generally righter than the other ones in the band, and that's kind of why you follow that way.
Kind of works,
right? So that's how the writing is now. Like, I've actually backed off on submitting songs because I'm trying to encourage my guys to write stuff. And then what basically I do is I produce the shit out of what they're doing. So it's like, they've written the initial idea, and I've said that this is what we do. We make it goes this, it goes up here, and no, we got to pop that chorus and stuff like that. So yeah, their initial nugget is still there, but we've created a song around it. And I'm trying to teach them, like, that's how I do it too. Like, I don't just wake up and be like, I'm not Mozart. Like, I don't wake up and like, oh yeah, here's a full song. Like, I have a riff, I have an idea, I record it, I listen to it. Sometimes it's garbage, sometimes it's great, sometimes it leads me to something else entirely.
Yeah.
But like, I do all that process by myself, and then I bring it to the band, and they don't see it because they're always like, you don't like my ideas. I'm like, I don't like most of my ideas either. It's not fit. It's like, I literally, not everything I do is gold. 1 out of 100 things I do is gold, in my opinion. And I've just got to be careful that I notice which one it is. Like,
that's the hard part, isn't it?
Yeah, that's completely the hard part. And I feel like they're starting to get it. But with me, like, actually back, because we don't need to write. Like, we're not on a time schedule to write. So we're just kind of writing whenever we want to. It's given me the option to basically, like, I just kind of build stuff up here that I'm working on, and it's just mine. I don't even show it to the band because I think that this is an important thing. It's some ownership for the band. It's an important learning thing. And like, I'm just hoping that really helps them out. Like, and like, as musicians, but also as my musicians, like, I want my band to be successful. I want them to be comfortable with their ideas, and I want them, to grow and write better stuff. It's important.
Well, hello. I mean, you just got asked to do a 90-minute set. I mean, hello.
I wish I could have. It killed me to say no. It killed me. There's just no way. Unless we're doing like 45 and then 45 instrumental. Like, we'll play them all again with no vocals.
Do you think music's going to get back to the way it was before COVID, with the way people are attending festivals and concerts and nights out? I think it's going to change.
I do, sort of. I think actually what's going to happen is that a lot of people that were a little bit older, like not old, like, I'm going to say, like,
watch the older part.
No, because there's a very specific demographic, and the reason the demographic is important is because where I live is so expensive to live, unfortunately, over the past 10 years, that it has chased all of our 20 somethings out. So we have a very weird demographic here on the island. But I think what has happened is that the 30 somethings,
DJ, honey, it's called old money.
It is, but it's not like, especially what's happening now is because everyone's leaving New York City, so they're coming everywhere, and they have money. Like some of it's new money, and you just can't afford to live in a place where the average rent is $1,400 a month. You know, like if you're 22 years old, like you can't afford that.
Right.
So, but what I think is happening is that the 30-somethings that were still coming to shows have now just spent a year and change not coming to shows. Maybe they have families, maybe they're doing other stuff. I think that we aren't likely to get them back. I think they probably saved $50,000 not going to bars. I think they're doing other things. I think they'll come occasionally to shows. I think they'll step out for the bigger festivals, but I do think the bigger festivals are going to be outpricing people for a few years because they're so expensive that they're just not going to be able to do it. But I think the saving grace of all of it is going to be the teenagers now and younger that really weren't affected by COVID because it was really hard for them to get. I know some of the strains are more effective towards younger people, but I think like you have some of these people that are just not really experiencing it the same way. Yeah, they go to school with their masks on, but like their life wasn't really totally shut down because they're back in school sports and stuff like that. I think those people, as they kind of move forward over the next 5 years, are going to be absolutely at Firefly and Monsters of Rock and, you know, whatever Lollapalooza incarnation is.
M3.
Yeah, all those things. I think they're absolutely going to be filling those. But people probably like my age group are probably like, yeah, you know what? I don't really miss it as much, and I can watch that on cable. Ooh, I could watch Godzilla versus King Kong too. You know, maybe that's
Speaking of,
yeah.
Speaking of,
Right.
Speaking of, and GJ, I have to give you total props again. The ever thinker that you are. I agree with you on that because, and again, you know, I will admit I'm a blonde, and I've said this several times that a couple of people have brought this up that, you know, of course, working in the financial industry with the whole stimulus stuff, it's like stimulus checks weren't made for single people. They were made for families and businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So for those single people who've been struggling throughout COVID, who haven't really been able to save as much, it's harder for them.
Oh yeah.
To go to these festivals or whatever. I mean, when a festival's asking you to fork up over like $150, you're like, really? That's my light bill versus a festival ticket.
Right.
You know, it's kind of hard to justify that. So I think you're right into that. I think that it is going to be interesting to see how these festivals do go over here, because a lot of the younger people are still struggling, trying to get caught up.
Yep.
With everything that happened versus, you know, I mean, if you were lucky to live with your parents, okay, all right, fine, that's a different story.
Right.
But, you know, for the average of us who are out here doing whatever, they still got a year's worth to catch up, and it is hard to catch up after that year. So it is definitely going to be interesting to see how these festivals are going to pan. It is really going to be interesting.
Right. And that's why I was saying, like, those younger people, like the 17-year-olds and younger, like they didn't lose their jobs. In fact, most of them kept them because they work at, you know, supermarkets, food service, all that other stuff. So they didn't, like, you know, and they might have even gotten some stimulus checks, and most of them are living at home. You know what I mean? So I think that the mentality is different. Somebody that really struggled over the past year might be like, you know what, maybe $250 plus VIP parking isn't the way to go for me right now for a show. Now, I'm jaded as F because my problem is I don't want to be in a goddamn festival unless I'm playing it. And that's on me. I've played some of them, and I got to tell you, the view from the stage is always going to be better. And I've been chasing that dragon for so many years.
I completely get that.
Yeah.
When you're talking these big festivals, you're talking 200, 300, 400 pound for a weekend ticket.
Right.
It's too much. It's too much. I think the most I've ever paid for a weekend is 45 quid. That's for camping.
Right.
That's Drunken Monkey. We have such a great time.
Camping crap.
Right.
I will not pay more than 50 quid to go and see a band.
Right.
Definitely. That's my own choice.
Yeah.
Because the money that I'm saving, I can go and see 4 or 5 different grassroots bands. I have enough to drink. I can go and buy a T-shirt, go and buy a CD, go and chat to the bands. And this is what's missing. People are spending too much money to go and see these big assholes, which are flouting it out left, right, and centre, and the young bands are getting no help whatsoever. So I decided a long time ago, nah, ain't doing it. sod off. I'm gonna just save my money and go and see the smaller bands. That's the way I look at it. Anyway, I can't be asked with them.
No, 100% right. And honestly, we locally here on the island, like if we've been making that pitch for a very long time. In fact, I guess it was maybe like 7 years ago. We kind of like all consciously decided like let's stop like bickering and like competing for slots and stuff. Like everything sucks. So why don't we just kind of work together? And really like some of the bands that we were really tight with, we were like, let's just do this together. And like I was saying before about like Jimmy from Craving Strange, like his band and my band have played so many goddamn shows together that people are like, oh, is Craving also playing? And it's like if we say no, they're like, oh, all right. It's like because what happens, well, you take a $12 ticket, right? And now you've got us and you've got Craving, who if you've seen us, you've probably seen Craving. And then we add like, Something Heavy or Jackknife Stiletto. Like these are 4 bands that like all of our friends want to see. Now we've just given you, 12. If it's a $12 ticket, it's $3 per band that you are getting to see. Like that's almost festival level without like an extra couple zeros at the end. And we try and package these things together so that like it's an event. Like for example, like we have this place closed, unfortunately. It was our home bar, this place called Revolution. It was 450 people capacity. And the last record that Craving Strange put out, they had their CD release. Our CD release party was scheduled to be there in June of last year, which sucked because obviously but the year before that, Craving put out their last CD, Careful of the Landmines, and we were direct support. And then we had other, all of our other friends were playing it too, and they sold the place out. And they were the first unsigned local band to do that.
Wow.
Like, I mean,
Craving Strange are brilliant anyway.
Yeah, they really are. But we put these packages together so that like they're good for us because there's a lot of crossover and fans stay, and there's always a new fan. But like the fans have the best times, and for dollars for the donut, like it just makes sense. And like that's our answer to like, are you really gonna go to like Warped Tour or whatever the hell it is going on in the summer and it drop like $175 plus $27 for water or whatever it is? Like go to a home bar, like we'll put on a show that you are gonna love. All the words, you can yell at us, make us play stuff you want. Like you can't do that. You can't go up to like, Taking Back Sunday, play what I want. Like you can't do that. But us, like, yeah, all right, let's play that.
Come on, let's go.
And it's much more personal. People feel like they're part of it, and now like they're violently like protective of us as bands and stuff like that. Like I love that stuff.
It's
and
great,
it just, yeah. But I don't like. I think that will come back eventually. Like, but on the smaller level. But like seriously, I think big shows, because they're gonna just really overcharge at least for the next 2 to 3 years. I don't see it coming back until like the younger kids come up. But honestly, they're not listening to those shows. They're Taylor Swift, they're Billie Eilish and stuff like that, and those are their own animal. I mean,
yeah,
like,
that's a totally different animal, completely different animal. My God,
I had said on the show that our record is actually about to hit 100,000 streams on Spotify, which to me is just freaking awesome. But I was saying, like, it's not as great as like some of these other bands. I'm like, I think, Taylor Swift might be getting there closely, almost 100,000. The chat was like, what? like, Taylor Swift in the first 5 minutes of her new record hit 100,000 streams. I'm in no danger. Taylor, if you're listening, like you're in no danger. Rebel 9, 100% available to open for you. Blank Space, man. I got you, kid. I got you. You never know, man.
You never know. You never know.
Dude, if my phone, wait, let me just, no, that wasn't her. Just check in case it was Taylor, I don't want to make her wait.
Right. Oh my God. You know what, DJ, you, again, that is one of the reasons why I love you to pieces, because I mean, your sense of humor kind of, I mean, I think it kind of rivals us in general, and you never know what you're going to say. And I think that's the funny part, is that, but what you do, what does come out is very passionate.
Yeah.
And you're passionate about what you talk about. And
right.
Like, okay, DJ, come on. What were we getting with this now? And it's just funny. And
you have to be. I mean, like, look at what we do here. Like, I could not be more attracted to professions that pay less money if I try. Like,
Tell
you know
me
what I
about
mean?
it.
Right.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like
That is so true.
right. This isn't sponsored by Amex, right? Like, well, I didn't take my plane to come down there and do this live. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're doing this. Like, if you're not passionate about, like, what else is there? Otherwise, it's gonna sound like, you know, because I'm sure we've all done interviews like, yeah, man, we did a new record. December, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Oh my God, I hate those interviews.
Yes.
I don't know how much you do research before you keep question after question. Yeah, man. Yeah, we did that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Had fun.
Yeah.
I do interviews a lot, and when I was doing the Reality Crush, the last record, I did I think it was 200 interviews in press for that record, and it was just constant. And I was so good at it by the end of it. Like the joke of the whole thing was I had gotten this pre-interview, and the guy sent me, he wanted to do a 20-minute interview. 30-minute interview. He sent me a list of 20 questions that we were going to cover. And I actually just sent back, I was like, pick 2. There was no way he was going to squeeze 20 questions with me into a 20-minute show. Not a chance. Tell us your name. That's 20 minutes. And that, when you have an interview like that, I always felt like I always try and give good interviews because I'm interested in what I'm talking about. And as long as the people are interested in hearing what I have to say, man, I will just go. I won't even stop.
My God. And this is why we love our DJ. This is why we do. And let me tell you what, honey, I love you immensely. I mean, and the fact that, it's like I said to a friend of mine, I said, oh yeah, I'm talking to DJ. And she went, Revel 9. I went, dude, how the hell did you know? Okay. No, and that's a cool thing. That's awesome.
That is.
And she goes, yeah, I saw them. I said, you what? Anywho, I was gonna go ahead, DJ. I'm sorry.
You actually have one of my favorite DJ stories to date, because you had just basically cold called, emailed me. You're like, hey, like, you got any music that I want to help the station out, like, whoever's playing the on the station and stuff. And I was like, all right, well, what do you want? Like, we have like, some good hard rock. It's kind of up tempo, or we have like really like heavier, like almost punk rock and stuff. Of like, or we got kind of like slow and dark. And you're like, just give me the hard rock one. So I sent you Blue, which is the first song on the new record. And you were like, oh, this is really good. Like, let me have the dark one. Let me have the dark heavy one. And I sent you Keep You Near. And all I got back in all caps was like, this is you guys? Because she had been hearing it on the station and just didn't bother to find out who it was.
Yeah, pretty much.
It was so funny. I have told that story no less than 200 times.
Pretty much. Yeah, and I felt like a complete freaking idiot afterwards. I'm like, oh my God,
it's awesome. There is nothing better than getting like, this is you guys? Oh, like all caps, misspelled. Like, I'm like, yeah, man, those are lead. I felt
like
single.
A complete idiot. I did. But you know what? That's okay. It's okay.
Great
it's okay.
Story.
I'm just saying. But Janelle was she's like, oh yeah, Revel 9, he's really good, this, that, and the other. She goes, yeah, I can't wait. And I said, dude, stop. DJ is mine. And she goes, oh, you're a bitch. But no, not that. Sorry. But it's just the fact that, again, that your reach is humongous. I mean, granted, yeah, you're in the city. Granted, or you're on the island, sorry.
Right.
But the fact that here I have somebody who lives in New Mexico who knows about Revel 9, I went, how the hell? She goes, oh yeah, I remember seeing them, back. I'm like, wow, that is so cool.
It's weird. Like we kind of have this thing like where we can't draw super well, like here, because we've been here for 10 years and stuff like that. And people are always like, well, there's always another Revel 9 show. And that's fine. Like, I get it. But we always used to say that we could draw 5 people in every single city in the country. And we never really knew why. I mean, a lot of it I always thought was just like, like you guys are from completely different places, supporting us, like talking to me, like, and letting me talk and playing our music because you're fans. And like, that stuff really, really works out. I mean, like when we released, we had a song on the Reality Crush called The Good Fight. And it was the lead single. And it was like a super personal song for me. And it was like, it ended up really catching people in a very like dark way, like in a deep way, just like Keep You Near has done on this record. like the Good Fight did that, because I mean the chorus of it is basically like, please help me to breathe one last time. And it's basically like just trying to get through like one more day, just doing your best. But the character in it just can't, doesn't think they're going to be able to do it. And that song hit so goddamn hard that we used to track like where it was getting played. This is 6 years ago. And it was getting we were tracking where it was getting played. And it was on internet radio this one day where it was on every hour for 24 hours somewhere in the world. And for us, it was just like, you got to be kidding me. And the only reason we knew that is because those were the stations that were tweeting it out. We don't really even know like where it was, but that song was everywhere for us. I mean, like we were playing it, we played it so much that we don't really play it all that much anymore. Like that was a big one for us, and we had to play it, and to boot, like we dedicated that to like our servicemen and women overseas and stuff, because those were the ones that were out there making this fight, and it just took off. Like it just took off, and it was just like this big thing. But like that's not us at all. That is people that like, you know, hear it and follow the band, and like because there are DJs out there on internet radio like I don't even send the stuff to. They grab it off of whatever services they know. Like I'm trying to send it to people, like but I'm working and writing too, so it's like I forget sometimes. Like I try and post even in the New Regal thing, like, did I get everybody? Like, does anybody need anything? Like I'm horrible at this. Like, you need anything at all, like let me know. And it's like, but like all these relationships we've made with all these stations are what drive that, because regular radio isn't there anymore. It's literally people like you that are doing this. And believe me, people like that save our asses all the time. The last time we were in Texas, we were going to play this place, and I got a call from one of the guys. It's Reach Down Radio isn't there anymore, but they were just big in Texas, and they text me, you don't want to play that place. Like I was like, why not? And they're like, you really just don't. We had 2 shows booked there. We dropped one of them, and they put us on another show they were doing. Like last minute, just added us to a show. Great show, absolutely great show, and we had a great time. We met a lot of great people in Houston that night, and they're still fans of the band and stuff like that. And that literally came out of nowhere. That came out of a station that I didn't know that was playing, you know, the Reality Crush. And so, that was pre-Reality Crush. We hadn't even released Reality Crush yet. And like we went there and we like did like one of our songs like live on the air for them to stream and stuff, like, because they had hooked us up so bad. We're like, here, man, here you go, run with it all day long. And they had like this super Revel 9 exclusive, whatever that's worth, but it would meant something to them, you know? So, I mean, it's just like, we can't do it. It is absolutely physically impossible for us to do it on our own. So like, us getting out there is like everything that you guys do, like all the time, every time you play it, and every story. That's why, Jackie, that's why I say that story is so funny. Like, it just, you know, it ties something funny to the face, to the time, to the station and stuff like that. Like that will endear to me forever, because I haven't seen anything that funny in a long time. And because it's great too, but I mean, it's funny, but it's also like the hugest compliment. Like, oh, that awesome song I've been listening to so long. Like, I can't believe it's you guys. I mean, it could have been the other way, but like, oh, I hate that song. I can't believe that's you guys. Like,
I would never, ever do that.
I'm going to lean the other way, even if it's not true.
Please do.
That's what I'm
because, and to be honest, I mean, I didn't say everything I wanted to, but I wait a minute. That voice, him. Wait, what? No, that's you guys. Yeah. So and it just, and like I told you in one of the things, I went, dude, you've got such a baby face. That's not you.
Yeah,
you know,
no, that's me. That is me all day. I got this much of range. I use the F out of it, but this is how much I got.
You're so full of it. You're so freaking full of it.
I just don't. We used to cover Rolling in the Deep from Adele, and when we did it, I had to rewrite it in several keys until I found the one key where I could get all the way to my bottom, all the way to my top, and we barely pulled it off. But man, was that fun. So yeah, I got this. I got a solid box range. We tuned to drop B. I'm all set. People always people always like hop up on stage with us. I'm like, why? Like, I can't sing a harmony above. I'm the lowest singer out there. Like me, it's like me and then Barry White, and then like, you know, that's, I
I promised I would behave. There's a joke, a Barry White joke, but I promised I would behave. So I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
Oh man,
I'm not gonna do it. You know what? Let me tell you what, DJ B. I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna the matriarch of the station, like literally, like been here since the beginning. And I mean, we have to drag you out of your shadows every once in a while so you can make an appearance. We're going to continue to do that, because we miss seeing you.
That's fine. All you youngsters are out there just doing all your whippersnapper stuff, and I'm just here.
Youngsters, dude, I'm older than you are. Shut up.
I think I'm not far off it as well.
I'm older than Tristan, dude. Come on, seriously? Don't even.
I don't know. Like, I know that there have been shows on the station that and over the years this has happened where I've plugged them and they're no longer on there, and Artifacts would be like, they're not. And I'm like, I don't understand. Like, because I turn on the station all the time. Like when I'm at work, like I'll listen. I am like 90% on the auto DJ. Like I just miss shows constantly all the time. And it's just like, so I'll like make an effort to like try and listen to shows, and I recommend shows, especially if they're like in the genre that my fans are like listening to and stuff like that. But like, I don't know what it is, man. I just show up every Thursday and I just do the show. It just hasn't been all that difficult for me. Like I think I had one, I was away for one, and I ran like I tried to run a best of, and this was like years ago, and everyone who was listening back then were like, don't do that. And I was like, oh, no. All right. Like, you don't have a best of. You don't even have a good of. All right. So like,
I was talking with Mike the other day about he said, he's missed the show. What do you mean he's missed the show?
Early.
He posted best of.
Early.
He's not doing that again.
No. No, they put their foot down fast. They're like, and I think I only ever missed one other show, like my motherboard blew, and I was like, well, I can't fix that.
400 shows and you've only missed 2.
I think so.
Bearing in mind, it's 52 a year.
Yeah, so I'm coming up on 8 years. I think it's gonna be 8 years in August or September. And it's just like, yeah, it's bananas. Like when it comes up fast, because like we do an anniversary show where I play like I actually go through the software and I find like all the bands I've played, and I try and find the bands I've played the most. And it's always so funny because it's so skewed like to like earlier bands and stuff. Like, man, like why did I stop playing them? It's like, and then we do like a song of the year, at New Year's and stuff like that. But like I always do a Thanksgiving Day show, like always, because it's Thursday. So like my whole family knows, like my whole family knows, like I do 12 to 2, and then 2 o'clock we go out. Like it's just I just do it.
Music
like
comes first.
Yeah, well, I love doing the show. It's a really good release for me.
Yes.
And like it's fun, especially like if there's a good song, like okay, so Stone Temple Pilots just put out a new record. It's like all acoustic driven, right? So it showed up on my release radar. So I'm listening to it. I'm like, I really kind of dig this. And I clicked on Stone Temple Pilots because I actually wanted to go hear some older stuff. And I found this record from 2018 that I didn't even know existed. And they had a song on it called Meadow, which I was listening to, and it is now like one of my favorite, like maybe top 5 favorite Stone Temple Pilots songs.
Yeah.
It killed me to wait 5 days to play it for the show. You know what I mean? I'm like, I gotta get in there and play. They're not gonna believe this. And that happens a lot, where I get so excited about it because I'm a nerd that way. Like when it comes to like new music, or heaven help me if my friends put out a song, because everyone's dropping stuff on Fridays, and now I gotta wait almost a week to play it on Thursdays. And I just talk about like, this is why this song is good. Like, and I've done breakdowns. Like I did a breakdown of Deep Purple's Lazy. Like I mean, the song itself is 45 minutes long, so you can imagine how long this breakdown was. But I'm explaining like why everything's good. Like this is watch this, the guitar and the keyboard at the same time. Like that's dope. Now they split off, and I just kept stopping it and doing it again. And then they made me do another breakdown because they wanted me to compare and contrast NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, and I was like. Yeah, I was like, no problem, man, because I'm a Backstreet Boy fan. I was like, and I said why NSYNC was okay, but I was like, this is why Backstreet Boys is better. And I went through like the whole song. And I would kept stopping, and I'd be like, see, watch how they do the chorus here. See, they changed the third line of the verse. That's pretty cool. And then see how he goes up here? This one's different. This is why this song's $1 million song.
DJ, so literally your inner nerd came out. Like
totally. but it drives me to do the show. Like that's why I did it.
Yeah.
We've all got the inner nerd when it comes to music.
Absolutely.
That's the reason why we hit that play button, go live button every week.
And you get super excited, and it's like, nobody doesn't even be listening. Like there's so many times where I'm just like, man, I hope there's somebody out there, because I'm just staring at this wall right now, making really good points to nobody. Like,
I know the feeling.
Yes. And one of the
and
best
then she
things
comes along and just fills the chat room.
Yeah.
Whatever. Look, like I tell people, I have no idea when I hit that button what's going to come out of my show is not scripted by any stretch. I have
mine either.
Songs. I have some sort of an idea what I'm going to talk about, but after that, screw it. And I mean, how many times have I like tried to say something on the air, Tristan, and it just like, no,
it's not happening.
It's not happening.
A PlayStation break.
Yeah. But that's what makes it great. Like, you know, you kind of have like, maybe there's something you want to talk about. Like, it's like you said, like I have 5 or 6 songs that I've gotten for the week, and I really want to get to them. And, you know, but like, so maybe something will just happen. Like I talk about my family a lot, like stuff that's going on like in the world. Again, since without actual shows, there's not a whole lot to talk about except the inner workings of my band. So I talk about like my daughter's on a travel soccer team, right? They're a really good soccer team, but they're completely bananas. Like they're all bananas, and I'm their coach. So I talk about them all the time, to the point where sometimes the chat will be like, "How are they doing this season?" like they actually are engaged and want to know.
Wow.
And I'll tell you one other thing. Like, so over the past year, like my friend Jimmy from Craving, he's a regular guest because he lives right down the road, and he was saying that I should take the beginning of my show and video it, and turn, because it's always like 20 minutes at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
So and video it, and he's going to put it out on his YouTube channel. They have a channel called Strangerhood TV, and it's basically like a lot of Craving Strange stuff, but it's also something heavy stuff, and you know, some Revel 9 stuff, and we're all trying to work together. Again, bands working together. I know that like is not supposed to happen, but bands working together to try and to create this entity, to give it, you know, enough view time and stuff so that we can actually monetize and start building on it. So he was like, you know, just start doing that. So I did. I started videoing the first 20 minutes of my show, and I call it the top 20. And it's been a lot of fun. Like, it's the actual video representation of all the stupid stuff that I'm talking about, but you get to see all my hand motions, my expression, all my sarcasm and stuff like that. So I was doing that, and I was talking about the soccer team because one of the girls on there was telling me that she was trying to bribe one of the other girls on the team to do her, I think, social studies homework. And she's like, and I offered her a couple of Benjamins to do it. And then she turned to me, she's like, then I looked up what a Benjamin was. She's like, did you know that's $100? And I was like, yeah, we all did. She's like, I'm really glad she didn't take it. So I tell that story, and I send it over to the parents of this girl, and they show it to her, and now it goes through the entire soccer team. They've all seen it. And now they're mad at me. They're like, we want, because I don't say their names, because I don't, you know, it's little, they're underage.
Right.
But they're all mad at me. They're like, you have to start saying our names and stuff because I want to be famous. And I'm like, I got news for you guys. Every single one of you probably has like 20,000 TikTok followers. I'm like, I got 50 listeners on a good week. I'm like, if anyone's going to get famous around here, it's going to be me. And that's just exactly how it rolls. And that's a show, because I got to tell the original story, and I got to tell the backlash. And that's, you know, you listen to it, it's like, where is this hard rock lunch spot? I mean, this has nothing to do with anything.
But that's why you're loved. My God, DJ, I think
that's what it is. I think
it is what it is, honey. And let me tell you what, you are just absolutely amazing. We love you to pieces. We look forward to seeing you next year at our little, you know.
Shut up. Yes. See, you cannot take her any fucking way.
You need a dump button. You need a 7 second delay.
No, we need the mute button.
Absolutely.
Oh my God! I told you I was a blonde, dude. You didn't believe me. I told you.
Oh, we believe you.
No, we know.
Get the hell out! Wait, you weren't supposed to agree. Damn it! Supposed to agree.
Oh my God.
You guys, DJ Honey, you are absolutely amazing. And you know what? We need to do this more often, where we get together and we talk and stuff like that, because you are definitely missed. And like I said, we need to get you out of your hole every once in a while and just chat, you know, Revel 9, whatever. And keep doing what you're doing, my friend. You are absolutely amazing, funny as can be.
Thank you so much.
And no, I absolutely adore you to pieces. And we need to do this again for sure.
Yeah. Well, this time works for me, and like I'll have more Revel 9 stuff. Definitely. I mean, I know we're working on stuff, so I'll definitely have stuff to talk about. And obviously, I never have a shortage of stuff to talk about. But we'll have some actual Revel 9 stuff that I'll be able to talk about at some point going forward. So sounds fantastic.
Well, my guys, this is Tristan and Jackie and DJ. We're all at the station 99 WNR. This was the Rock Bar for today with our guest DJ from Revel 9. And you know what? You're just amazing and love you to pieces, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Cool.
Thank you guys.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining us. And don't forget, boys and girls, like, subscribe, get that notification bell rang, because you never know who's coming up next week.
Absolutely.
Thursdays at 5 o'clock UK time, get on the radio and go and check DJ Pearlman out, because you'll be laughing along. You will be laughing along.
Never know what he's going to say.
Go and join him in the chat room. Don't forget, Sundays, Jackie and myself are back. And I don't know who we've got next week. In fact, it's going to be a surprise.
You do know who we have next week.
Everyone's going to be surprised.
Ruin the surprise.
I won't say who it'll be. Fine.
I know. Yes, I think I can remember. So until next week, boys and girls, have fun and stay safe. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell.
Yes. Talk to you guys later. Love you both to death.
Thank you so much.
Guys. Bye-bye.
Right. Bye, guys.